Two guys from two worlds. This is the FlipSide. New episodes uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now, your hosts, two guys who believe they're still relevant today, Jay and Noel. Anyway, Anthony, we were talking about on the last recording how there's two guys at a local prison here that literally chiseled their way through a brick wall and concrete with a makeshift toothbrush and rebarb.
Okay.
To go to IHOP. We can't. We were like discussing it, trying to figure it out. Now, the conversation to go to IHOP come up as a reason for them to chip their way out of there, or did they figure that out after they got out? You know,
like they got distracted. They're on their way to I don't know, take the bus somewhere. But like, bro,
at IHOP.
Hold on, I'm hungry.
Let's go to IHOP first.
Yeah, I'm thinking they figured that out after the
fact. maybe. Or the conversation started while they're in line at lunch on a random day, and like, hey, Noel, dude, we got to do something with it and get better food. This food sucks.
Motivation to get out, man. Like,
right.
Do you know anyone that's been incarcerated long term?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I used to. I mean, obviously, we had a falling out and don't really talk to each other anymore. But yeah, I used to know somebody.
Did they ever talk about the food?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly enough, it was half and half for him. Where he was, it wasn't. There's days where it's bad, but in most days, it's not as bad as what most people make it out to be.
Right, and then that's because U.S. national laws and the treatment of prisoners. They actually supply all U.S. prisoners with sufficient nutrition. There's like a nutritional guideline that must be met, otherwise it would be considered humane treatment. So the food isn't bad. Of course, it's not great, but the luxuries that get taken away from you,
right?
Like just the basic fast food. So I have to. Oh man, if I was San Quentin, maximum facility prison here in California for decades on end, I saw not even IHOP, maybe something something else beyond the tin. Oh, I'd absolutely break out for that.
Yeah, I'd be like top notch, high security. I expect nothing but the best here.
Hey man, I mean, what kind of accommodations do you expect?
Most famous prison in America, and this is the kind of food that you.
The crazy thing is, like like when it's a good menu out, and they usually get at least over here in the East Coast, they usually get in advance, a week in advance, what the menu is for the week, right? And then, like for example, if it's spaghetti with garlic bread, them garlic breads are like high commodity. And they will trade for it, Like, I'll give you a pack of cigarettes for your garlic bread on Wednesday.
But this Hell's Kitchen would be perfect for the prisons, though. I mean,
there's red and blue.
There's the red and the blue side, right?
Right.
Or did that whole Reds and Crips kind of die out already?
No, that's still there's always going to be a somebody carrying that torch.
Matter of fact, it's probably like diversified already, You got before it was just the Muslims and the Christians. Now there's Mormons, and they've
that's like a horrible comparison.
No,
it's just horrible.
There's born again Christians, and then Iglesia ni Cristo, and
aren't they the same?
No, born again.
You sure? Born again in Iglesia.
No,
no, they're different. No. They're different. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about equating. I'm equating like a born again to like Mormons for some reason. I know they're different, but because watching those missionaries out there.
Yeah,
cool
so
people.
In my experience, Anthony was asking a while ago if I know anyone that's been incarcerated for a long time. I say no, but I know more Mormons than I do people that have been incarcerated for a long time.
How I don't even I don't even understand how that's gonna be connected.
Do you know anyone, Ants?
I did. And I don't
Mm,
really keep in touch. I haven't kept in touch since. So I'm hoping
mm,
they're out by now.
mm.
But yeah,
Ah,
yeah, it was for domestic abuse. I don't know if it became
Oh,
extreme where the person might have caused
wow,
permanent bodily harm or maybe even murder. All I know is they were
wow,
out once and then they went back in. But
wow.
they always vouched that the food was good. But the first time they came out, their teeth were all pulled out by the inmates because, well, that way they can't bite down when they're forced upon. But they always commented that the food was pretty good.
Jesus Christ, dude.
But then again, if all you eat is IHOP, maybe prison food is
Yeah. I do remember that
jeez.
before I left California, actually, I was actually rooming with this guy that we went to high school with. And the week I went to rehab, he actually went to jail.
better.
And
Oh,
we were walking home from the pool hall near El Camino Real, and we got pulled over by the cops just basically pulled us aside. We were walking, and we were walking off Westboro Boulevard.
mm.
And again, this is a guy that we went to high school with. Here, let me type the name. Don't say the name, okay?
While you're
Sure,
doing that, remember that time that I also got stopped by the cops, Ants?
I do.
We were out. Did you
You
know
had
about
that.
this one, Jay?
No.
You had the BB gun, right?
Oh, that was a different story.
What?
No, there was one time I think we were still we were still staying at Ceremony Ridge, and then I had
Hold
the
on, hold on, hold on,
camera.
hold on. Before you get to that, let me finish my story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, sorry.
That guy's
So,
nickname was Boner. So if you want to give him a name, uh,
owner.
yeah, his nickname in junior high was Boner.
So
Uh,
you know who that is.
I know exactly who it is, but
Okay, okay.
of
So
course, it was an inside joke between me, that individual, and two other people. So
right.
it's not obviously a well known.
Noel, did you see that name? Don't say it. Did you
Uh,
see the name of the message?
no, no, no. Hold on. Wait, 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 wait. Where'd you send it at?
It's right there. I messaged it right there on our group chat.
Oh, there. Hold on. Sounds familiar.
Okay, so basically, I actually roomed with him. We got a room. I roomed with him for like a couple of months, right?
Mm,
And we were walking home from a pool hall, and we were off Westboro Boulevard. I think there's a golf course there.
There was, but yes.
Yeah, so we were walking on that road. Next thing you know, the cops like flash their lights and like tell us like, "Hey, come here." They start questioning us. I can't remember what exactly, but that was the last time I saw him. And he went to jail for apparently a warrant, an arrest warrant, and I didn't ask what it's about. Um,
mm,
and then right before I went to rehab, I spoke to him because he wanted me to put money in his, um, I guess his prison account. I don't know what it's called.
mm. For when he gets out.
No, no, so that he could buy stuff in there, like
Yeah,
snacks or whatever.
yeah, it's like Disney dollars except prison.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I don't know what it's called though.
But yeah, but the prison currency pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm surprised you know him, man.
Oh yeah, I met him in the seventh grade. We got pretty close until about freshman sophomore year, and then that's when you kind of start to figure out who you are
Yeah.
in
You,
this
you
world.
still see him, or have you heard anything about him?
When was the last time you said you saw him?
Oh shoot, I don't
No,
know, 1999 maybe 2000.
I'm pretty sure it was a little after that. As a matter of fact, I think he might even visited the gym. I might be wrong.
mm.
Really?
Yeah, I've encountered so many people over
Yeah,
the years at that gym. I'm pretty sure he stopped by, and he looked like he was doing all right.
that's good. Did he recognize you, or you recognized him, or what?
Oh, he recognized me. I looked the same until about 3 years ago.
Well,
So, yeah, so
well, that's good. That's good. I hope he's doing okay, though. I mean, even though we kind of drifted apart, he helped me out quite a bit that time as well.
yeah, we always wish the best.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, his nickname was Bono. I'm,
I'm
it might
assuming
have
he
been
got
mixed
called with a
with.
hard on during class.
Actually, now that I think about it, no, there was another kid whose nickname was Boner. His was not. His was something else. Yeah, everyone called me Mosquito. They
How,
called that
how,
one kid.
how do you end up getting a nickname boner though, Or you
Well,
just
that's the thing.
like
He was pitching a tent, and it was very obvious in class, and we don't know why. So the jokes were, you know, all related to being attracted to people who drive on the other side of the road. So,
oh God.
but we could have verified. The point being is,
Right, right, right.
I realized, yeah, that wasn't his name. It wasn't Boner. It was definitely somebody else. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, let me segue a little bit here. So Noel, you got pulled over with a BB gun? What the hell is wrong with you?
No, that's a different story with ants. We wanted to shoot a
Yeah.
movie in school. I just happened to leave the BB back in the time before BB guns were illegal to bring to school, or that you
Mhm.
would, you'd be uh what's that, like they'd send a SWAT team or what to sort you out. No, but this one back in the days, I was just bringing the camera. I had both the camera and the props, which happened to be BB guns. The height of Pulp Fiction, we wanted to like make a movie after school. No, but and then so the cops came, just wanted to. Actually, it was funny because their introduction to me was like, well, pretty much short of saying that we know that you don't mean to do this because like just judging by the look of you, you don't like, like school shootings wasn't like a thing back then.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I had the camera with me and everything, so it was. But next time, please don't bring a BB gun to school. And I was like, oh right, yeah, 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 makes sense, makes sense. No, but my quick story was, I was out in a parking lot by the apartment that we were staying at before. I had Anthony come over. I was kind of waiting for him. I think I was hanging out at the parking lot, and there were these cops sort of circling around the neighborhood because they were actually actively looking for someone at that time. And then I just
In
happened
your
to be
neighborhood?
in the neighborhood, and I just happened to have the camera with me. So he questioned me if I saw anybody run around because, like, I guess he was hiding around the bushes somewhere.
Right.
But it was enough that spotlight was on me. I was like deer in the headlights, holding the camera, like whatever it wasn't me. So
Were
those were
these
my
the apartments that
two. Yeah, those were
were
my
these
two
the apartments that were
instances with the cops. Sorry. Yeah, this was at Ceremony Ridge, if you remember.
there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Oh,
yeah.
in the back by the
Yeah,
hills.
yeah, yeah. And they had like a
I
big
didn't know you
parking
lived
lot
there.
there for a bit. Yeah, for a few months, maybe 6 months. Not even a year.
Right,
It was
right,
like in between before we moved to Hampshire, thereabouts.
right.
But
Um,
it was the coolest thing because there were hallways and there was like a stairwell, and there was stuff to shoot, but which we never really got around to doing much of. But it was just such a cool location for me compared to the rest of the Daly City neighborhood. Living in an apartment had so much, and then there was a pool, uh, parking lot. There was just so much stuff, so many locations to shoot with.
that's by the woods, right?
All I remember was it was past Gellert Boulevard and a little bit past the cemetery.
By the Shell gas station. I think I
Yeah.
remember that.
Just I don't know. You can Google it. It's on the map. Ceremony Ridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of Ceremony Ridge,
Mm.
so last time we were actually talking about Ceremony Mall.
Mm.
Um, man, that place has changed, huh?
Oh, yeah. The parking structure is probably the worst it's ever been. Not worst, but in terms of its design, the mall's absolutely different. There's a Dave and Buster's there. The
Right.
bus stations they're still in the same spot. But yeah, there's all these new businesses there. Some were torn down.
I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods. Do you guys remember that record store called Good Guys?
Oh yeah,
Mm. 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 Mm.
oh yeah.
That's a that's a strip joint name over here. When you say good guys, I mean strip joint over here.
Good guys. That's funny.
Anyway, I was like, I'm doing it right now again. But when we talked about ceremony after the recording, I did like a little Google map and whatnot just to see how it is. It's
Mm,
still the same. I mean, not, I mean, it's different store wise and what it looks inside, but the bus stop is still there.
mm,
It looks like there's a new, like the Denny's is gone,
mm.
Yes.
and they put like a Nordstrom rack in that section from what it looks like, you know.
Yeah.
And that,
There's a Chick-fil-A there.
yeah, TJ
On the opposite
Maxx,
side. Yeah.
Macy's is gone. Is it still there?
Macy's, it's in the process of closing down. They're still there.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
But
Macy's.
it's
there's a
funny that
2-story or 3-story parking garage now at Ceremony, which was never there before.
I can actually see that from the map. It's right by Macy's.
Yes, yes.
it's funny
That's
that you
crazy.
mentioned about the bus stop still being there. I was thinking about 21B and 21A the other day.
Yeah,
Like
21A, Arroyo El Camino, 21A.
that's
like
right.
thinking of I think I was thinking of like new passwords for my computer or something like that. And for some reason 21A and 21B came up.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
yeah, I have so much memories in that stupid mall. I mean, I worked all over the place over there. I worked at Victoria's Secret. I worked at the Gap. I worked at Prince Plus. I don't know if you remember Prince Plus,
I
that
do.
poster store.
I do.
Yeah. Nah, I worked at Victoria's Secret. I worked at
What does it feel like working in retail in general for you?
for me,
Yeah.
it was fun actually. You know, I was a pretty good salesperson. Wasn't
Mm.
too bad. I mean, I was able to save enough money to buy my first car in cash. So, but
Oh, oh yeah, the one that doesn't fit in the garage because there's too much stuff in the garage.
yeah,
I
no,
know.
that's a different car.
Ah, okay.
That's my baby right now. Don't worry about that.
All right.
No, but it was fun working in retail. You know, it's a lot of it's more laid back then, you know, but
Mm,
it's actually a lot nicer because back then, I have to say, people are a lot nicer. Customer service actually means something.
mm.
Now it's like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry to bother you if I ask a question. Yeah. Like, hey, can you tell me, like, it's over there? I haven't even finished my question yet, man. What's it's like, what do you want? At least back then, you ask, oh yeah, they'll actually walk you to where you need to go, where the item is it, or at least walk you halfway. Oh, it's right there.
Is
Yeah.
TikTok to blame, social media to blame for the all the lack of patience and human interaction? Where is this all coming from?
I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to pinpoint something to blame for that, though, you know, because it's to me, it's like honestly now, I've always preferred to go to the store to buy stuff, you know, clothes, bless you,
Thank you.
groceries, whatnot. But now, just to avoid dealing with these SOBs, I'd much rather just order it online because people are just rude.
Right.
No, one of the biggest difference if you go to a grocery store or whatever in the Philippines or here, that's like the biggest big flip side there. In the Philippines, customer service is it's key. You know, if it's
Mm.
part of the job description, it's part of the job descriptions.
Let
Like
me
I
tell
said,
you though.
here you go to Walmart and like, hey, can I tell you where? Well, shut the fuck up. Where do you want?
Let me take you back to Karen's the other day though. We were eating at the Karinderi here at the neighborhood. And we were
Yeah,
asking if we could, get some prepaid load for the cell phones, that kind of thing. And then they were really apologetic, giving me the full customer service on at the Carinderia, like explaining that the boss isn't there, they couldn't load, blah blah blah. This all experience. So sorry, we can't load your cell phone right now. And no, it's all right, it's all right. We'll go to like a 7-Eleven or whatever, get it
right,
loaded.
right,
Not a
right,
problem. Last night, like a teenager, comes over, asks them the same question, pwedeng magpa-load for the cell phone.
right.
And the lady goes, wala.
What?
Doesn't give him the full explanation on why they couldn't do it at that time, because they do have that service, except that it's the boss that does it, and
Right.
which is what they explained to us a couple of days ago. But last night when that teenager walked up, wala, none, don't have. I was like, you want me to be the one to explain it, or like tell the guy? But the poor guy just wala, so he just
Right.
walked
Right.
away.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's like here, it's insane how people are like afraid to ask people for help or like, oh, where can I find this?
Google
Because
it.
they're just
You could Google it.
Google it. Oh, where can I find a pair of socks in Walmart or in Target? How are you gonna Google that? You ask your workers, and it's like they're gonna act like you're interrupting their day. So annoying.
Yeah.
That's why
Have
now
you
I don't even want to go to like this kind of places anymore. Like we shop mainly online now.
I
Guess that's
I really think it's from all the technology and all the resources that we have. You know,
Right.
I'm sure there's like some quick split-second processing there. It's like, why are you asking me? You could just Google it. Although
Well,
it's my job and it doesn't make sense, but still, like,
right. So one of the biggest factors actually why we kind of stopped going to malls as well. I mean, we haven't stopped completely. We still do, but not as frequent anymore. It's not as frequent.
hmm,
Um,
it's not a hangout place anymore.
no, because honestly, here there's so many mall shootings. It's ridiculous.
It's get your thing and get out.
Yeah. So actually, it's pretty scary experience. So last year was like one of the worst years in history of like all these mall shootings. Okay, over here at least in the East Coast, bomb threats or whatever. There's this mall here. It's called Tyson's Mall. My wife, my daughter, my two daughters, and I, the four of us, were walking around the mall trying to do some shopping. We literally heard a gunshot inside the mall. Next thing you know, everybody in the mall is scrambling. And
Mm,
it scared the crap out of me because I'm holding a toddler.
mm,
Wife has the other child, the other daughter as well.
mm,
And we're watching my wife, we run into the store, a random store, just to get to the back, basically, right?
mm,
Because every store there has a back door to get out. So we ran in.
mm,
I'm like turning around and trying to see what directions the people are heading to because we don't want to make sure that we're not going the same direction.
mm, mm, mm.
And
You guys in
it's
the US take go big or go home to another level, you know?
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, we thought it was like, here's the fucked up thing. We know it's a gunshot. I know it's a gunshot. I've heard enough gunshots in my life to know it's a gunshot.
Mm,
Everybody in the mall clears out. Everybody's out in the streets and whatnot. The cops close down the mall, thinking or saying, we're going to do some investigations first.
mm, mm.
They come out to the news and make an announcement. It was a light fixture that fell on the floor. I'm like, shut the front door. There's no way, you know?
It's bad marketing for the mall, for the establishment. Yeah.
Probably. And I think they did that because 2 months prior, there was an actual shooting in that same mall.
Another one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to that mall. This is what they're trying to avoid. I'm not going to that mall because they got something going on there.
That's why I think they switched it up and say that it's a lights fixture. But it's one of
Yeah.
those malls here that's in comparison to like Ants, one of the malls there, it was at Stonestown, right?
the one that had the shooting was Tanfram.
No, no, but Stonestown is like a one of those high class malls, correct? Or is it
Yeah, Stonestown or the Hillsdale Mall.
yeah, Hillsdale, Hillsdale. It's in comparison to like Hillsdale, where the high brand stores are as well and whatnot. So nobody really think that something like that's gonna happen in those kind of malls.
They do
Mhm.
that
But
here in the media too. It's like may barilan sa isang mall, and then you notice like they don't mention the name of the mall in the report at all. They just say, in a mall, but they never say
what do you mean?
which
They're
look.
not letting the people know where it is?
Yeah, or if they say it, it's like just one quick sentence, real quick, but if at all. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure like 90% of the time, I think I could say that. Like if it is a private, if it is an establishment, they don't
Mm.
say the location, or they just say sa isang mall or in a mall in Quezon City or in a mall in Metro in Manila, but they don't say exactly the name to
Yeah.
avoid.
I mean, it's gotten pretty scary to get around here. I mean, I can't even imagine I can't even imagine it being any better in California. But um, I know that Tan Foran Ant just mentioned that mall has gotten to be one of those malls where there's always somebody getting shivved or something.
Hey, guys, speaking of
Yeah, it was one shooting primarily, but in terms of robberies or attacks, they've actually kept it down low, or it's not happening.
well,
So
that's good.
That's good.
it's one or the other. But it's safe to say if you cross the street where San Fran is close to the railroad track, yeah, once you cross that street, it's the other side of town. If you know.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely know where that railroad tracks is.
Can we talk about negative publicity real quick? And
Yeah,
Ants, I want to get your take on this. Being someone that has a gym, an establishment, that kind of thing. So we're having this Korean buffet barbecue thing the other day, and you know how they say no takeout and whatever you don't finish on your plate, you gotta finish it, or
Right,
otherwise
service
you
charge.
or you have to pay for it.
you have to pay for it, which I understand. Fine,
Right,
whatever.
right.
I couldn't finish our meal. And we wanted to get up and leave already. And the waitress said, "Oh," and she said it pretty nicely. She didn't have an attitude about it. But what she said kind of bothered me in a sense that she said, "Can you guys finish your meal? Because otherwise it's going to be charged against me."
What?
And then I was yeah, yeah, and then I was like, so I told her, but what if I really don't like it? I can't finish it. I'm really full, but really the truth is I didn't like the taste of it anymore. Why is it going to be my problem? We'll just pay extra for it. you know I gave her the attitude that was like, yeah, we'll just pay extra for it, no problem.
Or are you surprised?
And but I told him straight to her face, and I think the manager also heard that I don't like the food. Don't force me to finish it. The end of that story is that, and I was surprised that they didn't charge us extra for it, but that her reasoning that I should finish it because it's going to be charged against her.
Wine, please, in the kitchen.
It's going to charge against
Sorry.
her. It's going to be charged
The
against her.
waitress?
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on,
It
hold on,
just
hold on. So, let me. I apologize to cut you off here, but I'm trying to get a proper understanding. The waitress said
yeah,
the restaurant's going to dock it against her.
yeah. Management is going to dock it against her if I don't finish the meal. And I don't know how true that is, but the fact that it came out of her mouth, whether it's true or not, the fact that it came out of her mouth left a really sour taste. So I was thinking, oh, it's all right. Okay, treat me poorly, and I'll talk about this on social media. I'll get my revenge. I'll get my social media revenge.
What's the name of the restaurant? Say it. No, I'm just kidding.
I,
Don't do that. Don't do that. No, no. Oh, he thought about it too.
that's what I'm asking you guys. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Is it something that I should rant and rave about online, or should I just keep it to myself? Or is that negative news? Should I not mention the name of the restaurant?
Well, that's the thing about the internet, and it's always power without consequence, because in the end, it will make a difference to your life, but
But
can it
it's going to make a
absolutely
difference to
affect the person?
theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Mm,
that's the people who, like, for example, Yelp. If you own a business, if the person just didn't like you, let's say you gave
mm,
the best service to them, you gave them great tasting food, but for
mm,
some reason you rubbed them the wrong way, they can absolutely write a
mm.
bad review about you, whether it's correct or not.
Right.
Right.
And if you have a person who's trying to be a whistleblower in a restaurant, for example, and she's trying
Mm,
to tell you that, yeah, they're mistreating us here. If you don't eat the food, they're going to do this to me.
mm.
That's great news. But again, there's no way to prove that,
Right. I mean,
unfortunately.
it's a really thin gray line that you may or may not want to cross. It depends really. Now, in that particular experience, it could go both ways. I can imagine that if you ran something about that, it could go both ways where the point where it's gonna suck for the owner,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
but it could also come out as making you look like a dumbass or a jackass.
Or a ambulance. But am I right?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to get at. Am I right for feeling am I being too sensitive, or am I right for feeling
That's
strange?
not
Or
what the question that you should be asking. You should be asking is, are you feeling justified? You're trying to find
oh,
justification for your actions.
sorry, yeah, no, you're talking about, yeah, me complaining about it online, but just the experience of feeling offended, maybe is the word, for the waitress telling me that, oh, because you should finish it because it's going to be charged against me.
Yeah, which logically makes no sense
Yeah.
on a
Mm,
restaurant standpoint. So
mm,
That's like,
you know,
why is she laying a guilt trip?
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Unless she just doesn't want to do any extra work of cleaning, maybe it was her day to do the dishes.
True.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think in the back of her mind she was thinking that she was doing me a favor by telling me to to eat it up, so that I don't pay that extra 275 pesos for the unfinished meal. But why do you need to tell me that it's going to be counted against you? Just
Maybe
tell
it
me,
might.
to eat it up so I don't need to pay extra. That's it. Just leave it at
Well,
that. But it's got
that's the
nothing to
thing
do
though.
with you.
Maybe it is something that might go against her. Maybe that is the restaurant's policy. Why though? I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's the caveat to that. I don't understand it 100. I don't understand it, and I don't agree with it whatsoever. I don't condone it, but
it doesn't make sense either.
it doesn't make sense. Yeah, but I can actually picture somebody in the Philippines acting that way towards their employees.
Yes, that's my suspicion.
You
That they're
know,
just being mistreated over there, and she wants to whistleblow it.
right? I can because I can see business owners possibly getting away with something like that in the Philippines. I know here they can't get away with it no matter what. You know,
Mm.
but in the Philippines, I can possibly see the owner being one of those bosses that are just real dicks. You know what I mean?
I'm just the
Take your
type that
tips,
if I
dock
want to
your
complain
pay.
about it, I'm thinking, I'm hoping that it's going to help their business. So I was wondering if I should tell the management about it or not.
In
Well,
most cases, I would agree with you again. But in this particular case, I probably wouldn't because it's gonna make you look pretty bad as well.
yeah, unless you make a dummy account or something,
It
you know.
would it
True.
would I would look bad for complaining about it, for bringing it up like I am bringing it up right now on this podcast.
No, like for like if like you actually put the from the way you told the story,
Uh,
kind of sounds like you were being an ass too. You know, just because she said what she said and then you went on and said it the way you went on. You
mm,
know what I mean? You could have approached it a different way.
true, true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess bottom line in general, we were talking about negative publicity and that kind of thing. Uh, Um, where do you cross the line, or when do you need to speak up?
If it's something that's to me personally, if it's something that actually interrupts or disrupts my experience, then yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But if it's so tiny and minuscule and whatnot, is it worth it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
The thing
Although
that was going
when it
on in
comes
my,
to when it comes to food, I'm sorry to interrupt. If
mm,
if if it's bad, like for example, I went to Cheesecake Factory years ago, and I ordered some kind of chicken. The chicken was still pink in the middle, so I had it sent back,
mm,
which was fine. You know, I sent it back. It's like, hey, can you have the chef just redo it a little bit because it's still raw inside. It's still pink inside. Is what I said.
mm,
Um, and I was fine by it. You know, I think I was okay by saying that because you're not supposed to eat raw chicken. The chef actually came out to my table and tells me that's how we serve chicken here. I'm
you
like,
mean
then you should be sued and closed down because you could kill people that way.
Yep, salmonella.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Yeah. At that point, I think I was justified to go a little bit off tangent and like be a little diva or bitch or whatever, if you want to say it, because obviously it was okay for me to do that.
because I was thinking, if I didn't like the food that time, I'm happy to come back next time anyway. It's not that bad. I just didn't feel like finishing it. But the fact that she mentioned that, and now I'm thinking that's the policy that they have within their employees. It adds a little sort of salt to the wound of having bad food already, and then now they're
Hmm.
having that kind of drama going on with their employees. The more it makes me think twice about coming back there.
No, that's the beauty of a business. You don't have to go back.
Right.
You
Did
know,
you
now do
actually tell that waitress that though?
No, 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 I didn't go that far. I just said, what if I really can't finish it? I don't like the food anymore.
Yeah.
Why are
See,
you
just
forcing me
even
to? But I was just being a bitch about saying that, oh, I'll pay for the extra. Like, charge me extra. I don't mind.
right.
I was just being, I was just being arrogant about that because she had to throw out the policy that it's going to be charged against her.
Correct.
I
See,
wouldn't
now
have,
if you just left it at that, I
yeah.
think it would have been justified. But for you to go back in and say, I mean, to go back and say what you just said, I don't know about that.
And do you
Yeah.
guys have any bad publicity about your gym, or any common complaints aside from the
no,
smell or the stink?
no. I mean, complaints about any gym would be, for example, hey, you guys have been billing me for 3 years. I haven't been there 3 years. Haven't you noticed me? I haven't been there for 3 years. Why are you still billing me? It's like think of it like Netflix, right, or
Right.
any other subscription system, right? You're paying for a monthly service whether you watch it or not.
Right. Right.
Okay, and if you're not watching videos, you're going to get charged. Well, you pay for a gym service, and we provide it for you. And if you're not going to come in,
That's your prerogative.
it's yours. We can't touch your account without your written permission. So
Right.
if you don't properly cancel it, you're going to get billed.
That's such
And
a loophole, though.
it is. And the thing about fitness is sometimes it's an emotional thing where you have to be emotionally ready to commit to taking care of your body. But at the same time, it's still a service that you're paying for. And
Yeah.
if you're not going to be there, then don't pay for it. Cancel it. But to hold other people liable, unfortunately, is it's just human nature. And over the years, you find out that buyers are liars.
Ah,
And I agree with that phrase now because if it was me, if I was a customer, I was to whatever reason to not go to the gym and work out, I'm gonna find a way to weasel out of it and get my money
yeah.
back, even if I have to make a stink, especially if it's over a grand or two and I'm humiliated and embarrassed because it was my fault. I might just try to blame the company and find some weird reason. But in
Right.
reality,
Right.
it's the same thing that they're doing to us. And that for it's not something that my gym is guilty of, but I would be lying if I said there wasn't one or two of those over the years.
Hmm.
And
For your gym, are
uh,
you the one that
the,
handles those kind of complaints?
sometimes, but
That's
what I
awesome.
don't like about the social media sites like Yelp, for example, or those other food review places, and nothing against Yelp, they're great. It's just uh, depending on if the review was false information, you can actually pay to have that removed.
Oh,
But if you can pay to have something removed, then you can pay to have anything removed.
Right. Right.
So unfortunately, um, review sites, it's just so hard to get a straight up opinion.
Let me ask you real quick. How much is your membership now?
Eh, it could range anywhere from 80 to 120 a month. Which you're not paying. I think there's a chain called Planet Fitness. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
So they average about $10 a month.
Right. There's a bunch of
Right.
Planet Fitness where I live.
Yeah, and then if you know what a Fitness 19 or Crunch Gym or 24 Fitness Gym, you're averaging about maybe 20 to 50 or 50 to 60 a month.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
if you're offering martial arts training,
hmm.
if you're offering MMA training, jiu-jitsu, and all that stuff, MMA fight schools ask 200 to 300 a month. CrossFit gyms ask for 200 to 300 a month. A specialty gym like with rock climbing or yoga or anything like that, they'll ask for 150 to 200 a month. We're still asking for 80 to 120 at the most.
Right. Right.
So it's very reasonable, um, and it's still the lowest costing gym, at least from what I've noticed in the area that I live at,
Right.
especially where houses are unbelievably ridiculously priced.
There's this one gym over here. Well, it's called um, not fitness. Is it fitness equation? Yeah, fitness.
I just gave you access, Jay.
All right. So anyway, I was just
Yeah.
saying, I can't remember the name of the gym. I think it's called Fitness Equation down here, but they're about $160 a month for membership.
Uh,
I just don't understand how. I mean, I guess I can understand now, but the gym could charge that much for membership. Do you guys remember Gold's Gym?
I do.
Mm,
They're right in
That was
mm,
Daly
my
City.
Yeah, that was well. There used to be a lot of Gold's gyms around here too, and the Gold's Gym around here was actually pretty nice. It had a pool,
mm.
sauna, basketball courts,
And when
and
Gold's Gym came out, they came out hard.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they were all over the place, and I loved it. And my membership was only like $39 a month until they shut down and closed down because stupid Planet Fitness kept popping up everywhere.
The
It
Gold's
was
Gym
insane.
here, 5, 10 minutes away, closed down also.
Yeah, there's like a um, what do you call it? Here, almost every 2 months, every city has at least two Planet Fitnesses. It's insane. Um, and it's getting pretty annoying because the people that work there are just kind of rude too. I mean, they're supposed to have this rule where you can't act like a douchebag and trying to be like overpowering and flexing all the time and whatnot, or slamming bells on the whatever on the floor.
Yeah, their gym culture, it's supposed to be non-intimidation.
Yeah, supposed
Right.
to be.
And I think don't
Mm.
they have like pizza nights too?
Yeah, yeah, which I still don't get to begin with. But my point is, these gyms, it's just I don't know where they come up with these prices. It's too much, too expensive. It's not worth it to me.
Luckily, we live in a world of options.
Right, right, right.
Depending on who you're talking to, if they can sell you the idea that it's worth it, they explain the services and they talk to you about your goals. If they can actually convince you that
Well,
you
I'm
can
coming from my point of view as someone who's just being lazy.
well, if you found out that maybe some solution was going to grant you better health, longevity, three major benefits like your fitness benefit, your health benefits, your physical, your emotional and spiritual benefits. If we can get all that, would it be worth the price of admission? You know,
That's a good question.
and if it's worth the price of admission, then sure. So now it really depends on if you happen to be at any of those places who you're talking to, and if the person's motivated, because it's what they love doing. Like in my case, if I can eat, breathe, and shit martial arts, uh,
Right.
it,
Yeah,
it, you might join the gym, and
yeah.
and if you're talking to somebody who doesn't care, it's not going to work out. But of course, someone who does that for sales, they're not going to last very long. And
True.
in the end, that's what all these businesses are all about. It's just customer service in the end, which is slowly dying out. And if knowledge like that isn't passed on, you're not teaching good morals, good human interactions. Yeah, that'll eventually disappear too.
Yeah.
Where, as Noel would say, is it technology? It is for sure, but it's not the only thing. It's a little bit of everything. There's a lack of apathy with our species now.
Right.
I think what Anthony's also saying is that, you get what you pay no, not you get what you pay for. But you're
In a way,
getting more.
yeah, you definitely get what you pay for.
What I'm
Yeah,
trying
but
to
you have
say
to
is
pay that much to get it.
you're
Yeah.
getting I think what Anthony's maybe also saying is that you are whatever you decide to sign up for, you're not actually just getting what you're paying for. I mean, think about all the extra stuff, which is also the culture, the behavior of the people, just basically the environment that you're putting yourself in, especially when it comes to these fitness trends or fitness things that's going on. But one quick thing, guys, before we start to wrap up here, I've been wanting to tell Ants, I'm happy for you that you got into to UFC, because I remember when we were into I mean, UFC gym, when we were getting into martial arts before, there was a lot of talk about how Bruce Lee was, merging different martial arts together, and how he was like was he like a pioneer for that, or he was just like a good ambassador or speaker for that kind of thought process, though, right, Ants?
Well, he was definitely the pioneer um, that made it mainstream as it is. But
To not keep things so pure as it is, to mix everything up, to pick and choose like a buffet, not in Hell's Kitchen, but like a real buffet.
well, that concept unfortunately wasn't realized effectively until I guess Dana White marketed it that way for UFC. A lot
Right.
of Bruce Lee fans became, if anything, they reinforced the purist mentality. There's a lot of Jeet Kune Do schools that don't actually follow Bruce Lee's concepts of
Huh.
Jeet Kune Do. Instead, they just copy him. They wear the jumpsuit and they bounce around and spar like him,
Huh.
rather than
Yeah.
being an evolved method of fighting. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but um, it's definitely like that now, where everyone's realized, okay, you just pick what works, and kind of omit the rest temporarily,
Mm.
merge it together. It's
Yeah.
definitely like that now.
So anyway, I'm happy for you about that, in a sense that you've gotten yourself in a business that you have always believed in, that you've always that you were living and breathing even before we were just interested in it,
Yeah, thanks.
even as we were just interested in it. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Very forced, very
I'm
very
not.
forced.
I'm not really. I don't know. I never got into it, to be honest with you.
Martial
But
arts.
yeah, the martial arts thing.
Well, remember, you can do it a couple of ways. One, you can do it for the sake of just the exercise, which is always
Yeah,
fun.
but
Okay.
of
Two,
course,
you
sorry,
have
of
to be
course,
a
I'm not just
badass.
talking about martial arts in general, huh? But just the whole philosophy of UFC, that it's all mixed and put together. Versus, I would find it weird if you were managing a specific karate, jeet kune do, or a
A
specific
dojo.
shotokan specific martial art, or like or even just aikido, for example. It's like
IKEA.
aikido, like
Oh,
no, because Anthony and I have always had this conversation about, yeah, mixing things up together to pick what's best, and that there's no shame in mixing it up. Oh, I haven't told you about this before. Sorry to stretch things out, but
very fine.
when I came back here, so I was fresh from really into karate with Anthony, right? Which was pretty stiff, the way we were sort of um
Doing
uh
it at the time.
sparring, yeah. And then I got myself into, and then here in the Philippines, back when when I was in college, there's ROTC. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that kind of
Yeah, yeah.
military
Yeah,
training. And so
In high school
I
or
was in the
college.
I was in the orientation of ROTC, and then we were in line waiting for a couple of hours, like under the sun, figuring out what to do next. And they were raising the idea of being an officer, that you'd have to shave your head and you'd have to attend extra classes, that kind of thing. And I was like, if I was going to do ROTC, I was like, I'd want to be an officer or get out of it for some medical reason or another, because I didn't want to just do the regular thing. So I was looking into the idea of being an officer, and then a friend of mine said, "Why don't you join like a chess varsity team or something like that, so you
Oh
can
my
get out?"
God.
And then there was an opening for taekwondo. Anyway, long story short, I get into taekwondo, and none of the stuff that I learned from sparring with Anthony was really working, because my kicks and my punches were really sort of stiff, in a sense that that's what I liked about taekwondo. Is basically, I think what I'm trying to say is that we were encouraged to be free flowing and moving around, and to sort of be bouncing around in the mat a little more than you would be so rigid and stiff with the stuff that we were learning in the gym. So
Right.
so that was a really steep learning curve, to say the to say the least.
Did you
Um,
did you actually start with that back there or here when you were a kid?
uh, Martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was already into martial arts even before I moved there, and then when I moved
Ah,
back, when I moved back, it was my way out of ROTC.
ROTC.
Yeah, so it was
That's when you found your passion.
uh taekwondo.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just a fun way for me to get out of to get out. But I knew that it wasn't going to work on the streets. It wasn't for, self-defense.
Right.
It was fun. It was fun doing the kicks and spinning around and being all nimble and versatile on while sparring and being all fancy and everything. But I knew it wasn't practical.
Mm.
I mean, it wasn't going to work for street fighting. I mean, there was no grappling. What do you call that when you're
Grappling
close? Yeah, close.
or close encounters and whatnot.
Once you
It's
get into
grappling, right, Ants?
Say that again.
It's grappling is called like close encounter where you're like
the
Close
third
quarter.
kind,
close
close
quarter.
quarter
Yeah.
combat.
Close
Yeah.
quarter combat.
So that's the problem with taekwondo. Once you're close to each other, they kind of stop. It's because it's a sport. It's not really a self-defense.
Right.
The focus is not really on self-defense. Anyway, I'm
Right.
getting off on that whole rant about taekwondo, but that's just how I got out of ROTC. I felt like I was so smart, but I was just barely getting away with it because, again, my old habits die young was from karate training.
Right. Right.
So there.
Well, Ants, I know you have to go. Thanks for hopping in on here with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just wish I was able to contribute a little bit more.
Yeah, no,
it's
we're about to
fine.
wrap up ourselves also.
Yeah.
And too bad my camera died. My camera setup didn't die. I wasn't able to show it off to you, but yeah. So there it goes.
It's a good setup. Hopefully you can join us again next Saturday. I know you works on Wednesday nights, right? You said?
Yes, I do. So I don't usually get home until 7 p.m. Oh, no,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
not 7 p.m.
Yeah.
8 to
Serious
9
though,
p.m.
next time if you're in the middle of whatever, as soon as you can click on that link and hop in for a couple of minutes, we'd be happy to hear from you.
Well, that's the problem is I'm teaching a class, so
Yeah.
there's no way I
Yeah.
can. Yeah,
And
but
go live.
maybe I can so that you guys can see it live. That's right.
Yeah, go live,
Yeah.
and then we just have it running in the background while we're talking about, two couch potatoes complaining and talking about working out at a gym.
Right. Pretending like we're working out.
I'm sending before I depart. I'm sending you to a video of probably the last time I've moved with a student of mine who turned fitness to fighting. It's usually the other way around,
Right.
So if you want to see how I guess how I moved recently, well, that's it.
Oh, where was this shot?
Who's the other guy?
She's in the video she was about 46. I think she's 50 now.
When was this shot?
2018.
Oh, been a couple of years, yeah.
No,
Hold on.
There's other footage I have after that, but in terms of me doing a full round, there aren't that many videos of me doing a full round. So I'm usually behind the camera.
Got it. Where is this? In the gym?
This is at work.
So,
anyway, gentlemen, you have yourselves a good night.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us again, and hopefully you can hop back on next week. All right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're wrapping things up also.
We're gonna wrap up soon here too. Anyway.
Yeah. Thanks, Ants.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ann. Have a good week.
You too.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Anything you wanna close out with?
Wow.
Anything specific?
No, not really. I think I got a lot of we got a lot of I got a lot of notes to move over to the next podcast again.
To the next episode.
Because there's quite a number of things. There's literally only one thing that we discussed on my bullet points today. Only one. And everything else was like one after the other. But it was fun. It was good,
And as episodes move forward, all the other stuff that you wanted to talk about, do they have like a shelf life on your notebook?
Yeah, the shelf life is actually pretty extensive here. It's not bad because it's like an open-ended type of thing. Like, for example, the one thing, your call center experience.
No, but for me, it's like as time goes by, it's like, don't want to bring that up anymore.
Right.
I could throw it out. Why do I even why even bother about it?
Why even bother? No, but as of right now, I think I am all set. Uh, Another day, another dollar. We went from one to another, from me walking around DC and eating at Hell's Kitchen, to negatively publicly shaming Karen's place in the Philippines, and everything else in between.
From one camera to the other for me. So
From one camera to the other. Hopefully, you get that fixed the next time around, and I'm going to get that fixed. Also, um, well, we'll talk about it after we'll have a quick powwow after the recording. Anyway,
alrighty then.
thanks again, guys. This is another day in the books, another one in the till. Thank you for bearing with us. This is the flip side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
My name is Noel.
We'll catch you later.
On the flip side.
Peace out. Okay.
Alrighty then.
All right. Catch us on the next episode on the flip side with Jay and Noel. New episodes uploaded on Wednesdays and Saturdays.